Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 11th of October, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar index. Dollar just still in decline now, short term, for the last couple of days. So we are just seeing the dollar hitting some resistance here. Having had a good run for the last several weeks, we're just coming back a little bit on the dollar, and we're seeing the euro moving higher. So euro has found support on this 60-minute point and figure chart we're seeing there, and looking better again. So at the moment, it's euro strength on the short-term chart. We're seeing the dollar weakness against the Japanese yen and against sterling as well. We're seeing sterling rising. Remember, this chart's inverted. Sterling rising against the dollar. So that's also looking better. Dollar weakness is really the theme. Sterling is falling a little bit against the euro and against the Swiss franc. It's still bullish on the short term, but flat, and against the Australian dollar much the same, just struggling around this 170 level. The S&P 500 index holding its gains, still sitting at the 2550 level, so looking strong. Nasdaq also still holding its gains, and the Dow much the same picture, and the Russell 2000 flat but holding the gains that we've seen of recent weeks. Stellar gains here, really. So at the moment, US stock market's looking pretty good. The S&P future down very, very slightly this morning, and the Nasdaq E-mini also down 0.1%. So no real heads up as to which way the markets will move today. Looking pretty quiet all round. FTSE 100 is up this morning above this 2500 level, 7500 level. So we are holding that, but just struggling to make new highs really. Some markets just a little bit in the doldrums. The FTSE 250 is looking a little bit better. We see here on the weekly chart that it has made new highs. So the mid caps are just performing that little bit better. The DAX is just flat as well. Markets generally just flat, really, and we're seeing the Nikkei just moving higher. That weaker yen over several weeks has helped. Hang Seng just turning down a little bit towards the close today, but still looking pretty strong on all three charts. Shanghai also quite volatile in the short term, but we are still seeing it holding into a bullish position. And the Indian market, the Sensex, recovering quite nicely, so that's looking pretty good as well. The S&P Australian market is actually higher on the short-term chart, and we do have a new upside target of 3.6%, but we've been going sideways for several months, as we see on this chart. It's a very different looking market from most Western markets. Brent crude is higher above the cloud at 56.80 on Brent crude, so we are looking a bit better there, and WTI is looking stronger as well, back above $50, in fact through $51. So oil is performing quite strongly for this time of year. Normally we're falling quite heavily at this in the summer driving season over, but at the moment crude is looking quite strong. US nat gas up slightly at 291, but struggling to get really into bullish territory. Copper is just continuing to hold its recent gains and really finding quite clear support on this medium-term cloud chart. Heating oil was making multi-year highs. It's sort of holding on to those gains. Bullish on all three timeframes, really just coming through on the short term, but looking pretty good all round. Taking a look at gold, gold is strengthening. We are seeing the short-term chart looking quite bullish now, so gold looking much better than it has been, and silver much the same picture, of course. Upside potential here of 3.7%. US Treasury yields falling back a little bit from that 240 level, 2.4. We're seeing now at about 2.35%. Apple holding its gains in its recovery, looking quite a lot better than it was. Google still looking strong, Amazon looking strong, Facebook also looking fairly bullish above the cloud, and Microsoft continuing its march looking strong as well. So all in all, markets fairly quiet, and it's just a case of watching for the next big moves. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.